opening weeks.
Yeah, they were big on it. They got a little bit of an early read, then it got buffed, then it got, I think this is the hotfix in their version on 12.12, so not quite as insano, but we'll see.
Certainly will. Also, it does appear to be a Gnar meta, and Gamsu not one to shy away from a blind pick tank in the top side. So we'll take it there, and looks like Lucian is going to be the lock-in as well for Neo.
Glad to see it. Neo, someone who has had some hot and cold performances as well. Him and Bio in lane phase have been very good, actually, I'd say, for a lot of the time, but it's like the more mid to late game situations where not able to get enough damage out in team fights or gets caught out right at the start of a team fight. So Lucian is one of the more difficult champions. I feel like a lot of AD carries right now are difficult to play in the mid to late game. Kalista as well, being short range and not usually ending up being like the main damage carry. Lucian brings more damage, but still have to execute it well.
Yeah, it feels like Lucian maybe not the powerhouse that was advertised in maybe the early weeks of the split, but obviously still very good, especially if you get snowballing. That is a very early Irelia, though, being picked up there by Golden Guardian.
You see the Gnar, Licorice throws down the gauntlet. I love it. He's one of the players in the LCS who, in the top lane, is willing to take the skill matchups when you give him the opportunity to. He had 2 Fiora games already. He's picked up that Kale one time as well. He can play the blind side with 3 Sejuani games, but if you're going to take an early Gnar, he's going to play one of the counters, whether Camille or Irelia or something.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think in general, like we say, it's a blind Gnar meta, but Gnar is not a safe blind pick. There are plenty of good counters out there. Licorice, nice to see, not unafraid to throw one out. Wukong also going to join in the jungle there for Pridestalker, and the expected Nami is locked in for Biofrost.
Yeah, it's funny that Nami has become a better lane partner than Senna. Like lore-wise, I don't know what's going on there. It's a little sus. I don't really like it. Maybe do some tweaking in the game.
Ooh,
just
like
take
that.
Nami's kit and slap it on. The gun shoots like bubbles or waves or something. So it's a
Bloody Senna.
Yeah,
you know, it's just a skin. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. Kog'Maw also banned away, so I think thinking that Stixxay wants to play another hypercarry. Actually, he did play already this week, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, was that their game that had it yesterday?
I think so.
Yeah, there's been a little bit more Kog'Maw in the meta, it feels like, with some of the scaling champions. We've seen more Jinx. Obviously, there's always been a lot of Zeri. People are kind of playing these late game champions. I think especially with Seraphine, you're expecting a hyper carry if you're going support that are enchanters. Usually it is something like that. Lucian being the exception just because of how Nami and his kit synergize.
Yeah, I guess the other thing is maybe a double enchanter lane, but perhaps Golden Guardians want to move away from that. Could also be AblazeOlive's pick, right? If they want to play double enchanter somewhere else and then have a hyper carry to your point. So I think a good ban there for Dig, just covering some of their options. Jarvan banned away from River has become a staple, and there is a Kalista ban. So both sides of the marksman coin being taken off the board by Dig.
Yeah, getting rid of some of those. I love the River ban. They just call it that. It's not a J4 ban, it's a River ban. He hasn't spammed it quite as much, only one game this split. Of course, it was his spring champion, but that game that he did play, he was incredible on it. He just seems to be able to lead his team so well with this champion, both with his early game decision-making and pathing to exploit lane matchups, and then in mid to late game to actually lead the charge in team fights. And you just want to take out something that has that much early game pressure and late game kind of decision making. When you go EQR, like your team knows, flag and drag means go.
Yeah, I think Volibear kind of has a similar position. Obviously falls off a little bit more, but is better in the early game, and lots of junglers seem to like that pick right now. That will also be taken away, which does leave us with Xin, which is the choice there for River.
Yeah, he's turned to that a couple times now. Still has a lot of that early game power to scrap out early and affect the map. And so far, Dig has gone very early game oriented. We'll have to see what their last pick is in the mid lane, but Lucian, Nami, Xin, and Gnar is very much about wanting to win early on.
Can't wait for Victor. Or Azir. I guess Azir's banned. Never mind.
Ooh.
Swain and Sejuani. Going to be the last two there for Golden Guardians.
So that means maybe Irelia bot lane. I'm not quite sure where they're going to want to go. If
wait a minute.
Ends up being the Sejuani topside. Could as well be
Swain bot earlier.
Wukong bot and Sejuani jungle. You can do a couple things. We'll have to see where they end up.
Yeah, I guess kind of anywhere, actually. As our last pick is Taliyah, interestingly, there for Dig. Going to be Blue's choice,
I think the synergize well. You put Blue on Taliyah in the mid lane, you roam with the Xin to one of these side lanes where you were expecting to have pressure. That's their kind of team comp. I do like the adaptations by Golden Guardians ending up a little bit beefier in their last half of the draft, going for a very obvious short-range ball comp. It's 4 melees. I mean, Swain is not really a melee, but he's a melee.
He's a melee.
You want to get in there and start zepping people with lasers and stuff. So it's a comp that wants to go in, but so is Dig's comp. Like Lucian's not long range, Gnar's not long range, Taliyah's not particularly long range. So if your comp can get on top of them, you can win a lot of these team fights.
Yeah, should be fun. I mean, AblazeOlive actually was on Taliyah, I believe, yesterday, and he did quite a lot of damage.
Did not win that game.
Did not win the game either.
He had some big plays, though.
So obviously a champion that we haven't seen all that much of, but have seen it from time to time, and since the changes is pretty powerful, so nice to see Blue going to be taking it here into this game.
Yeah, AblazeOlive is one of the highest in DPM in the league.
Nice.
He's someone who I feel like is very aggressive to the point of sometimes being like, you got to pull that back a little bit. But I appreciate a player who's having that problem rather than, oh, I didn't go in when I could have. And I think more and more players are starting to get more aggressive in the LCS. I think just last game, Lost was insanely aggressive in some of those team fights, and he was someone who was maligned for that a little bit in the past. But
absolutely. Love to see it as we're out on the river for our final game of the weekend. It is week 4. That almost broke my brain because that was a little breaky that happened the week prior.
Okay, so most important thing to check is Seraphine's skin.
Yes.
Star Guardian just launched.
Yep.
Porter Robinson, where you at?
Where you at? Get the ads out.
I'm tempted because Star Guardian's obviously so influenced by anime.
Yeah.
Just trying to work some more weebery into the cast. So just sneaking in phrases that are commonly said in anime. Sugoi. Daijobu, we're scaling.
We'll see how you can weave him in there.
Yeah, I'll try and sneak a
What's
couple.
your weebery level?
I'm
on
a
scale
hard
of 1 to
play.
10.
Pretty weeby.
You level 10?
Closet weeb, not full 10. But like
level 9, level 8?
I'm watching like Wotokoi and Hinamatsuri, some weird ones that people might not know.
Okay. It's pretty high.
I don't know.
We'll have to find a way to like judge your anime power level.
I'm watching all the big shonen too. If anyone's like, what the hell were those?
Oh yeah, you just watch a lot of television. Actually, that's something that people don't know. And they do now. If they didn't
permanently
already.
on couch. Yeah.
Oh, here with me casting this game as it is Olleh actually that ended up with the Sejuani. He will be spot. I did look down at the item. I wondered if maybe they were trading off farm there, but nice invade here for Dig. Pridestalker just eats it at level 1.
Nice delayed invade by Dignitas, catching them a little bit asleep at the wheel. You saw River with the sweeper to make sure that he was not seen on the way in. And Golden Guardians was just like, okay, we did our point defense. We're now going to where we go after point defense. And that late invade by Dig caught him asleep. And this is what we're talking about with River's early game influence, just knowing how to find footholds in the game.
It's actually savage as well, taking the red now, taking these Raptors away. I imagine Pridestalker is going to get some leverage on the other side, but no, River's actually just straight cross-mapping it right now. They're saying, you do not get this buff.
Yeah, Pridestalker going straight to the blue might mean he gets it before River can get over there. Blue has shove, and yeah, River's just going to back off and protect his own red buff and then clear his third quadrant kind of on his own blue. So less of a blue buff contest and just making sure that they don't end up in vertical jungling.
Yes.
It also does relieve maybe potentially some pressure onto Gamsu if Licorice knows he has his jungler in his back pocket the whole time. He can kind of play that counter matchup a little bit more aggressively, and this keeps him honest.
Yeah, like this as well from Blue, just getting into the river early as topside. Licorice in trouble, very close 1v1. But both players hold their nerve. No flashes used, but both champions quite low. Licorice, though, first to 3 is going to be safe here. Surfing on the wave, getting a little bit of health back. But here comes River with the early game pressure. Licorice does have flash still. Oh, stepped the wrong way forward. Trying to avoid this. Now what do you do? Licorice, I think, senses something. But
there's a ward right there that did not initially. Now River turns it off, so Licorice actually didn't know where River went. That was so smart.
Yeah, really nice there. Now Licorice is completely trapped, can't do much, has to fight Gamsu, but River is going to take second blood.
What an absolute galaxy brain by River. He realized he doesn't need to actually clear the ward. He sees how Licorice is playing the footsies, knows there's a ward around, just turns it off so Licorice doesn't know where he went and forces Licorice to commit.
So Pridestalker's response is just to fight now. Knows he's a little bit stronger, has a bit of help there from Swain, but Pridestalker wants to get it done. River, though, forced to flash away. Didn't have a buff. So he's going to finally take it, but that's worth the 2 kills he's gotten.
Yeah, getting now his second red buff there. River having to fall back a little bit. Got a little over, was feeling himself after those 2 kills, but does have to respect that one. And in the meantime, bot lane took the second scuttle for himself to continue trying to deny what Wukong has available for him.
So huge early game gold here. In fact, Dignitas are up 1,000 gold at under 4 minutes there, and most of that is going to be on River as he's going to finally clear the right side of his rift and take this launch quadrant away and finish a very delayed but very successful 3 buff.
Yeah, you'll see that CS deficit start growing for him now, as there will be very little for Wukong to do. And the fact that they drafted such an early game team comp, like we were saying for Dignitas, it's extra hard to recover, because if you had a pushing bot lane there, maybe you can go and contest that blue that River is on right now. But because it doesn't matter, he's there, you can't get your bot lane out to help you. And of course, the Lucian Nami will show up first.
Yeah, and Licorice did use TP. Both of them actually have used it already. So Licorice back to business here with the cull in the top side. Again, trying to get some leverage here with the counter pick. Didn't use the flash, just kind of took the L knowing he was dead there. So if it's left isolated, you expect Licorice to still be able to win that 1v1 at least early.
Ooh, almost thought the flick back was going to connect by blue there. River not able to find it. And so far, a great start by River, who AblazeOlive had really high praise for, saying
Yeah.
he's one of the best players I've ever seen, not just one of the best players in the league or whatnot. And I have been super impressed by River every time I've seen him play, even internationally at MSIs and whatnot. He's been such a beast, and I'm glad to see him continuing to make things happen on not J4 to break that stigma. I think people saw how successful he was in Spring and just equated like that's all he can play. And it's like, no, he can play anything. It's just if Dignitas need him to play J4 or not.
Right, and I think, again, so much of the things we praise him for is about his pathing and his understanding of the game and how he can kind of run and, micromanage what's happening in the game. He is, as far as we know from all reports, across the multiple leagues he has played in professionally. No matter where he is, no matter what the language is, he is there making sure people are playing the game he wants to be playing. And it makes sense why. He's very good.
Yeah. I'm in favor of Dignitas giving him more resources to try and make things happen. So far has been paying them back quite well. We do have I would argue, a bit of a scaling advantage for Golden Guardian side. We joked about the Daijobu we're scaling. I think that is in effect because your Seraphine ball comp just becomes so hard for the enemy to deal with. Even though it is very short range, so is the enemy team comp. And with the sustain and shields and all the things available to you, it should just be hard for Dig to punch through if they're not already far ahead in gold, which they are at 6 minutes in, almost 1,000 up.
Yeah, pretty significant here, but Golden Guardian still feeling pretty good. Licorice happy here in the top side as Gamsu's going to have a big wave pushed into him. AblazeOlive also up about 10 CS, and bottom lane's nice and even, but pushing, which you have to think Seraphine and Sejuani are happy with.
Now we see Blue at 6 getting that ultimate. He can start making some more macro plays with River. See if they can force some bot dives if they're able to get down there first.
Gotta be careful. Level 1 Taliyah ult, not very, doesn't go very far.
You do still have to leave lane. You can't just shoot out from the middle of it.
But obviously, Taliyah wants to get out of lane, so curious to see how much Blue can kind of pair up with River. We did see a little bit of that with them trading off for vision in the early game. It is nice to see them play well together, but that will obviously want to continue as Dig do want to open up this mid game with the lead that they've built already. Don't just want to sit on their hands and scale.
Definitely not the case. For Golden Guardians, I'm hoping to see some playmaking around mid lane. I think it's one of the things where talk about globals, you often want to attack it, and I think Taliyah does have double mobility summoners, and very much playing for I'm going to shove and then go run around the map and make things happen. But if you can find a way to cut her off from making plays, that's a great way to stabilize that mid game that you were talking about. And it's something that I think Golden Guardians, a little bit of a trade there, do need the most work on. They have had good early games on and off throughout the year, and it's usually mid to late game problems that they can bump into.
Yeah, we'll see how it kind of all shakes out, but Blue did dip towards the top side of the map. I think got a ward down, but didn't get any further there to go ahead and poke at Licorice, who's still feeling pretty confident, 20 CS up against Gamsu. But again, Gnar's job is to do things in the team fights. I don't think Gamsu is expecting to be able to contest 1v1, even though we have seen a good amount of Trinity Force. Gnar kind of playing a bit more side laney today. That's not going to be Gamsu's job against this Irelia, that's for sure.
It feels like it's never Gamsu's job.
True.
They brought him in to mostly be weak side. Like, early pick Gnar is not like, all right, we're going to invest in you to carry the game now. His Shyvana yesterday was really good. There were some questions I know about his build path, and maybe some mistakes in the late game a little bit, but I think that the bigger problem was EG just being a monstrous late game team fighting team. And I think it showed more dimensions to Gamsu's gameplay, that he doesn't need to be losing lane and down CS. Like, if you give him the opportunity, he can make some things happen, and we're seeing them try to make something happen now with River.
This certainly counts. Dig actually here very, very quickly. Have Blue, I think TPing back in, may have swapped over. Bio actually in trouble, though. That's a big amount of damage. Seraphine ulti goes through the Swain, and Pridestalker able to pick up bomb, but it's the trade back there as AblazeOlive falls down. They're calling up, and Neo is going to try and find another, but River is going to be crushed by Licorice. Great flash out of Gamsu to dodge the Irelia ulti, but GG going to win that exchange.
Really nice contest by Golden Guardians there, kind of catching Dig out in a bit of a lazy rotation, just trying to walk through mid lane there. You see it. AblazeOlive getting the hook back onto Biofrost and kind of forcing Dig in the back foot. Able to grab this reward, the Rift Herald. The best early game snowball option right now, with the Dragons not being super strong on 1 and 2. Early game team comps like what Dig have, if you can break the tempo advantage that a Rift Herald will give you, both with the early influx of gold from the platings that you take, but also being able to break turrets and open the map up, losing something like this for Dig's team comp is a much bigger issue than you necessarily think. Great combo here by Olleh and AblazeOlive. Long range snipe by Stixxay as well. Also hit Gamsu on the backside trying to get involved in that fight. And while they're able to clean one up, there's just no way for River to get out of here. A lot of CC for that Deathball conflict we're talking about, and already you can see it's kind of painful to play into.
Yeah, when they catch you, I don't think you get away. There is so much CC, there are so many slows.
It's tough. There's a lot of chase down potential so far. Really like the draft by Golden Guardians. I will say that's something that they have had interesting looks on and off throughout the year, the Mundo and whatnot. And I appreciate that they're a team that's just not sticking to what other teams are doing. A lot of teams try to copy top teams, not just in their own league, but globally. And I think Golden Guardians is the team that's trying to say, like, well, what's our identity? How do we work as a team? And they're not afraid to do something that might not make sense initially to other viewers or teams.
Yep, I love their ambition. Obviously, it's not all going to work out all the time, but I think both the sole laners, Licorice and AblazeOlive, are willing to play counter picks, are typically on top of what's kind of cutting edge as far as meta. I remember Tom Kent for AblazeOlive coming out. Swain, obviously, a bit of a newer pick in recent games as well. I just think they're a team that, you know, will go for it sometimes. Sometimes it's, yes, well, you're on the same team, doesn't look so hot. Sometimes this draft, looking great.
I think it's looking great. I love Swain as a pick right now.
Oh,
Maple
yeah, Swain feels oppressive.
Earlier today, Maple looked incredible on the Swain. He popped off hard, so there were a lot of people popping off. Obviously, Instinct got a Penta. It was a good game.
Quite the day.
Yeah, so I think the Swain is one of these kind of like linchpin picks in the mid lane where, hold on. Wasn't sure if a wave was going to come out there from Bio. Silence pulled the trigger. Swain, as like you're going to draft a meatballish champion in the mid lane. There's not that many right now. Galio's not particularly meta. Swain can fill that role of making sure that you're really good in mid-game team fights.
Going for a little bit of a scuffle. Licorice dancing around, but eats the slow on the back end of the boulder. And Licorice just going to counter ulti there and walk away.
Nice idea about Licorice. Your ult getting the minions low. You can then hop onto Gamsu, but the pushback by Gamsu bottom just enough range to get out of there. Some more birds for AblazeOlive.
Collecting them slowly but surely. Also of note, very popular chainsword today. It makes extra sense when there's a Seraphin on the enemy team.
Yeah, a lot of first item Chempunk chainswords after the buffs. Just good generalist item. And this in particular is a team I like it. There's sometimes people play without a ton of healing by the enemy team, but Irelia, Seraphine, Swain all have a fair amount of healing in their kits as well as rune choices and whatnot. So very much understandable that, hey, it's a good item and it gets a lot done right out the gate.
Ooh, good little wall there trying to cut off AblazeOlive. The wave's going to hit as well. Now AblazeOlive going to pop into stasis. Bubble not going to connect as a result. River trying to get in there, but AblazeOlive kiting away is going to force the flash at the end of it. And the Herald gets the charge off, so successful Herald, I have to say, for Golden Guardians.
Overall successful play for Golden Guardians as well, getting the flash out of Neo, flash out of River. I don't know if they actually took any summoners of their own other than maybe Olleh's Ignite, so that was a clean little play there to get some Rift Herald damage down the mid lane turret, get a little bit of gold, and eat some of Dignitas' resources as well. That's that global ultimate that we're talking about down for the Taliyah now. Yeah, it's much shorter range and whatnot, but if you're getting this pressure down mid, you're stopping Dignitas' actual game plan from coming through.
Yeah, loved the combo there, kind of using the two pieces of terrain to force the CC, but AblazeOlive had the stopwatch handy. Unfortunately, broke his watch now, so they're going to struggle to tell time. It is almost 13 minutes in the game, if you're curious there, Nick. And Mandate is done alongside Divine Sundra, so Golden Guardians feeling pretty good. In fact, the game, which was 1,000 gold ahead under 4 minutes, if you recall correctly, is now basically dead even. Golden Guardians up a couple hundred.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
I think we've now got to flip the sides of what does Dig need to do. I feel like you always talk about, like, what's the losing team need to do in this situation. And for Dignitas right now, it's actually very hard. You don't have a ton of setup. It's a lot of, like, conditional CC. It's not point and click ultimates or anything like that. Gnar needs to be in his mega form. Lee needs to land skill shots. Nami needs to land skill shots as she Biofrost hit one right there, but it's on the clone.
And Olleh can just kind of get in there. River's actually really going for it. Pops the ulti as well. Olleh a little bit low, but he's going to flash away. Dies to Biofrost at the back end of it all. And Pridestalker going to get turned around as well. Golden Guardian trying to find the initiation. Stixxay gets a snipe, takes out River. Pridestalker lives as AblazeOlive is running interference alongside Blue at the very tippy top of your screen, but they're going to get away. And Golden Guardians just kind of take one away there.
Somehow only ending up a 1-for-1 there by Dignitas. What looked like was going to be a great skirmish for them. Like the idea, we're talking about what should they be doing? Fighting. Yep. Skirmishing. You don't want properly set up team fights. As Blue overstays as well.
Good flash. Blue trying to make it happen. Finds the final Q. Pridestalker, though, should be able to seal the trade. And indeed will get it. Pridestalker back on the board for the second.
All right, 1-for-1 by Blue there. Trading flashes out. I thought for sure he was just going to end up dead there, but showing some good aggression, finding that kill. And like we're saying, just keep the aggro up for Dignitas. You want flashes down. You want a game where it's easy to find kills.
Gamsu, very nice setup. Beautiful wall combo. Doesn't even need the help, but he'll take it. Actually, didn't need it. River, no assist gold needed. Gamsu with a solo.
Gamsu trapping Licorice. I need to see exactly what the setup was for that, because kind of not really near the wave. Chunk down low, allowing Gamsu to get the solo kill. He's got a couple solo kills on people out of nowhere. He got the one on Huni a couple weeks ago on the Gragas game. So Gamsu's shown if you try and sleep on him, he might mess you up.
Not looking pretty good. Champion been around the game for a long time. Gamsu right back in the saddle. 1v1 there up against Licorice, who overstepped, I'm going to imagine, here, as we watch this bottom side play to begin with.
So I like this initial kind of scrap that goes on here. The way River plays it kind of forces Olleh to step forward. He's hopping onto Pridestalker. In Olleh, the only way to get the stun off onto River is actually to go back into the field, because otherwise it'd be outside the range of it. And that allows Neo to kind of just chase through Pridestalker. They ignore him and get the other kill. Here, that last second 151 heal you see keeping him alive, Neo thought for sure he was dead. Blue gets this trade back. Got action all 3 lanes. It's turned into a scrappy game.
Love to see it. Pridestalker does get that trade. Couldn't dodge the last rock there for AblazeOlive.
Rift Herald going down to Golden Guardians again here. As we see a bit of a concern. The gold lead still in Golden Guardians' favor. We'll see. Perhaps I'm wrong and these team comps interact differently than how anticipating, but from what we've seen right now, it looks like Golden Guardians, as much as there's been back and forth, you know, Dignitas does have the kill lead, they're still in an okay spot.
This is a really nice rotation as well. 4 people just taking down the tower. They can push through, drop the Herald that they just picked up, and even though Dig did get the second dragon, they picked themselves a cloud. Not going to help so much on the gold front there, as Golden Guardians will hold on to their Herald this time. Looks like Neo, trying to enter in the bottom side, should be able to get his team some tower gold back.
And trying to trade back a little bit. They still have that Rift Herald though, so you can assume there's probably one more turret going down into Golden Guardians' favor. Looking like they're going to drop it top lane right now. Get some more gold into AblazeOlive.
Keep the tempo nice and high. Biofrost clearing wards, not all that safe. Bio though with a good flash. Finds himself on the blast cone to get a little bit of extra distance, but still like the aggression from Golden Guardians.
Yeah, staying aggro. I also like Biofrost mechanics. Good flash. Knew he was a little unsafe. Biofrost has had a relatively good split and year overall. I think there was a lot of concerns about, is he washed or not after the the kind of time away, and come back and said, nope, I'm still really good, and has had good performances on team. For Dignitas has been struggling a little bit, but I don't think you would ever look at him. It's been one of the bright spots on the team. Him and River, I think, were the two that most people are looking for. And Blue has been stepping up more this split, though it hasn't quite reflected in the record yet. Yeah,
absolutely agree that Bio's return, I suppose. The pro don't really come back. Didn't leave for that long, to be perfectly honest. Has been nice to see. Hands still there for the now old man of esports. I don't know how old he is exactly.
I'm pretty sure Bio was like 23.
It's easily early 20s.
You can't
that's what happens.
Whenever you meme players being old in like early to mid 20s, it makes us commentators feel bad.
Okay, true. It's not old. Early 20s.
Probably some viewers as well.
Chat. If you're out there, don't worry about it. Good to see Vincent back. We'll put it that way. It's Gamsu down here in the bottom side, just chilling, trying to push the waves back in the Dignitas direction. Maybe just waiting for this next dragon here, but teams, as you said, has been surprisingly scrappy. Licorice continuing to maybe find something here. River caught out, but it's a fight on the other side as well. A 3v3 about to be a 4v3 as the TP comes through. River going to be forced away. Licorice with a nice little 1v1, but did have to commit the ulti.
Yeah, trade of ultimates, but the flash in favor. River losing that one means it's going to be very difficult for Dignitas to go in here, because he is kind of the primary engaged tool. Gamsu, if he has his Mega Gnar properly managed, you can fight it. Fortunately, the ultimate should be back up in time for that dragon that you were talking about and able to get out alive, but no flash when that one does come around.
All right, everyone's just going to back away. Should have everything back, as you said. But when we get there, for now, it's just trading on opposite sides of the map, it feels like here. AblazeOlive did use his TP, so it doesn't have that for a potential cross-map play, but again, has plenty of time to catch this wave here in top lane and then saunter on down to the dragon in just a mode to make sure that all happens. Mandate's done. Mythic's mostly completed. Everyone's got a first item mark. Actually, except for Olleh. He's there. He's almost there. I promise.
One day he'll get...
One day. Doesn't matter, though. You just click the ulti. If you hit 5 people, doesn't even matter.
Yeah, that's
save the game.
The only real thing that Sejuani needs to do. CC somebody up. I think for the side of Golden Guardians as well, they do have a little bit of a comp advantage as well in terms of side laning, as getting some cheers for something.
I think
Scryer's Bloom
enthusiasts in the chat, in the crowd. The live chat, as opposed to the live chat.
Yeah, we'll see if there's some other cheers come through. I'm still like, is it really just the blast cone?
I think so. Some people are just really excited about plants.
Maybe.
You excited about this dragon setup, Mark? Because Golden Guardian's moving on in. Minute till it comes.
Like it a lot for Golden Guardians. They're a tough team comp to run through. There's a lot of tools. Both the Swain fishing with it as they go right in.
A little bit of a horror movie situation there. Beautiful Seraphin ulti. One explodes as Biofrost dead. River's gonna join him, and that wall not enough to save either of his teammates.
Golden Guardians lulling them to a false sense of security. Me as well. Not quite sure if they were actually going to pull the trigger on that. Go flying in there. Nice setup. There was Olleh, like we were talking about. You don't need items. Just land that ultimate, and they're actually going to look at the Baron just spawning now.
Yeah, actually, very early Baron here. They're attempting River Dead, but only for 15 seconds. Not a long death timer. Damage is okay for Golden Guardians.
He won't be able to get there in time, so this is definitely a situation where the 3 men alive for Dignitas are going to have to stop this.
Gamsu, ooh, he's thinking about Mega Gnaring on in there. Oh, the Baron hit him. That's not a good look, but he's going to go in for it. Mega Gnar Gamsu going for the Baron. Has to hop out of there, and the Baron does indeed, per MarkZ's prediction, go to Golden Guardians.
All right, Golden Guardians, the aggressive Baron call working out. Dignitas are going to try and cross-map for this Dragon in the meantime, but you see teleports already coming through. Both AblazeOlive and Licorice showing up to make sure, Stixxay, excuse me, make sure this is not uncontested.
Yeah, Pridestalker even getting healed up a little bit from the Seraphine, trying to face check, keep Dig honest. They do have the speed train done as well, so Digger on vision as they start this. Ulti's running a little low for Golden Guardians is the one thing. They'd love to have Seraphine ulti in particular back up.
Yeah.
They can wait. They'll have a fight here if they want it.
The thing is, Dig is not being particularly aggressive. They keep starting it, stopping it, and they've already kind of walked out of the river. And so, as you can see, they kind of ceded control to Golden Guardians, able to break the Dragon stacking for Dignitas. Wheels coming off a little bit here. The Baron's gone. The Dragon stacking's gone. Golden Guardians run away with it.
Yeah, certainly looking like the Golden Guardians dub here, but we'll see what happens here. 3,000 gold ahead. Licorice 1v1 in Gamsu. Ulti goes the wrong direction. I think Gamsu's hopped out of the way, and Neo with the punish just takes out Licorice.
Oh, no. Licorice with a bit of an oopsie there, like you said, the backwards ult. He has had a couple oopsies, it looks like, so far this game with the solo kill to Gamsu as well. Generally up pressure and playing it well, but in these moments coming up a little short.
We see it again. I think I saw Gamsu hopping away. So maybe the angle was correct, but maybe it was just an oopsie. If we see it again,
we'll see how cruel the observers feel like feeling. Were you outplayed or was it a misplay?
Well, we also have turrets to take here. Golden Guardians won't be too perturbed as Licorice is back in 7 seconds, and they still have plenty of towers to take off the Rift here with their Baron buff.
It's also a question of, what else is Dignitas going to be able to get off of this play? Yeah, it stems how quickly you can blow the game open with that Baron buff, but we're already of the opinion that they're in a good spot as River, a little dangerous.
Gonna get stunned, but Pridestalker, that's not the real one, is gonna be able to get out safely. A minute left here on the Red Bull Baron, so Golden Guardians meeting some pretty stalwart defense here for Dignitas, but AblazeOlive is finally gonna get one here in mid. Blue is trying very hard to defend the tower, but now looking for the 1v1, but it's not gonna be 1v1 for long as AblazeOlive has far too many friends now in the area, as Licorice gonna also roam on in. See if they can't 2v4 here, but AblazeOlive has no chance of that. We'll go down to River.
These are exactly the mid-game problems that I was saying Golden Guardians falls prey to sometimes. It's not like they're just dumbos messing up like macro concepts. It's players getting a little bit greedy, making a couple mistakes, and then the kind of snowball that follows afterwards. You don't have the exact setup that you should with this kind of 1-3-1 or 4-1 that you might have because Licorice died, and they don't want to let the Baron go totally to waste, so AblazeOlive continues pressuring. He's able to get the turret, but gets baited into the all-in because Dignitas was able to bring the extra members, not under that much pressure after picking off Licorice. And, they give the kill back. It's a loss of tempo, but they're still in a good spot.
Yeah, oddly, the gold lead actually kind of stayed flat with the kill trading that happened there. Golden Guardian did get some towers, but they were about 3,000 ahead when the Baron first got taken. Still 3,000 ahead, despite getting some structures. So Dig with good defense off of that very early Baron for Golden Guardian, keeping themselves within touching distance here in the game.
Striking distance?
That's
or is that fencing term?
They're both good. Thanks. Yeah?
Okay.
Striking distance, touching distance, spitting distance. That's when you're really close, though. They're not that close. We got a little bit of more of a gap.
Yeah. They have some work to do. Dignitas is probably going to need to win a couple team fights around major objectives. It's going to take some hard-fought victories, maybe some objective bounties.
Ooh.
Those got tweaked. So I was out in 12-3. They're not out yet. Those changes are not out yet. False alarm.
It's a lot of patches. tricky.
This is why I try not to read the patches before they go live in the actual pro play, because then I'm like, oh yeah, that changed. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not in here yet. It's okay.
Golden Guardian still charging up. Again, don't feel too like spurred into action. I think kind of like you were saying, they feel pretty confident in the way their comp is going to work as the game goes later. I think generally the death balls we have seen have been pretty nasty. Like big kind of meatball tanky champions to lead the charge back by Seraphine's pretty sick. And we might see that here as Pridestalker is going to find the flank angle. River's going to be the first target there, but the TP's coming on through. Gamsu with a decent amount of rage, but not quite full just yet as Golden Guardians will back away from the play.
I really like that bait, though. That was actually Dignitas intentionally leaving River out on a string. Look at him, jump on him, he's all alone, and then over the wall, the rest of Dignitas is able to collapse. They don't find the kill, but they blow a lot of ultimates for both teams and are able to buy a little bit more pressure, actually, to get this push in the mid lane.
Going again, perhaps Licorice no ulti, but still can go in to try and find Gamsu. Good little hop over the wall, but Licorice is following another wall. He's going to move them back in, but they've got it on. They pile right on top of Gamsu, and Pridestalker takes him off the rift.
Yeah, Gamsu getting caught out. The team trying to collapse. Don't end up on the right side of their own wall. End up having to sack control of that one right as Dragon is spawning. And so another relatively uncontested for objective here for Golden Guardians because they do the work before the Dragon spawns.
Yep, looks like it only cost them one extra ulti. I believe Olleh's was the one they had to use there, but more than worth to pick off as Licorice very tenacious in trying to pick off the enemy top laner. Maybe wants to get a little bit of revenge back from what happened in the earlier solo kill. And with 15 seconds still, that Dragon is spawning. Golden Guardian should continue to stack these up here as Neo's going to get a little bit of coverage, but not needed as Golden Guardians are busy on the other side of the rift.
I think good idea to cross map here, given that you have no real way of contesting that. Able to get some more gold onto the Lucian, who is at 2.5 items, falling a little bit behind the Seraphine, but it's not necessarily a one-to-one comparison in itemization and how they're going to get that damage out.
Yeah, I think in this kind of matchup, it's just, you know, how many targets does Neo have easy access to in a team fight, right? Or is he being attacked by Irelia, Swain, Wukong, Sejuani with Seraphine Ultimate over the top?
They've done a decent job so far to defend Dignitas' team fighting a little bit here, of making sure that River or Gamsu are available for Neo to not be the target. The only problem is sometimes the rest of the team is not quite there yet, or there's some other mistakes happening. So they, I think, understand how they want to play their team comp, make sure that River and Gamsu are the ones kind of in the front line, in the middle of that death ball, and you kind of sit on the outside and try and snipe down one member like the Swain or Irelia if they step too far forward.
Yep, obviously good man mobility there for Lucian, so if you can play on the fringes of the fight, will feel pretty good. Golden Guardians being very tricksy, basically using all the fog of war that they built for themselves as the ulti is going to happen. And that looks like River's in a whole lot of trouble. The ulti is going to kick them out of the way, but Pridestalker jumped back on and forced to go into stasis, but AblazeOlive's chasing. This Rylai Swain is just so sick, man. And they are going to get another catch onto Blue River, thinking about going back in, but I don't think you can manage it here. As Licorice goes through, Sejuani's going to set up an easy stun, and Stixxay is going to take that one down.
Just a ball comp, man. Run at them. That's all you got to do, and you have this available. AblazeOlive able to go running in there. A nice initial CC onto River, and if you're able to chunk him down low, he can't be that front line like we were saying, and so from there, AblazeOlive is just kind of floating menacingly forward, forcing them into retreat mode.
Just can't run. That's the problem. They've all this CCs, all this slow. River doesn't have flash on, by the way. He's half health, getting healed up by Biofrost, but Golden Guardian's just going to make them come to this Baron, and it's not an easy one for Dig to try and snag. AblazeOlive even going to try and get some intel, but Gamsu diving on in, gets the stun. Pridestalker, though, has found the target he wants. They're going to go in to try and get a kill instead. It's AblazeOlive blue, but River lower on the other side. AblazeOlive may go down, but Gamsu's now absolutely loose in the rest of the team. He's going to fall. AblazeOlive's going to live, and that's going to be Baron again for Golden Guardian.
The healing coming in from Golden Guardians to keep AblazeOlive alive. Not able to finish him off there. Stays up, gets the bait kill, gets Gamsu to chase him down. Second Baron of the game for Golden Guardians.
Nicely done once again. Up to 6K now. When the FTX gold advantage is Golden Guardians looking to try and put the game, you know, a few steps within ending off this Baron. You know, before, kind of traded back and forth, got picked off a little. This team fight, though, however, looks spectacular setting up for this objective.
Yeah, I think AblazeOlive, they're calling that they can kill him. They know his ultimate's not available, so they're trying to get on top of him. They get a nice chance to see and almost finish him off, but the stopwatch there, able to buy some time. And they finish off River, who was the one who might have contested the Baron, and you see, just not able to finalize that kill. Unlucky. Able to get out.
Good old Swain. Alongside Stixxay looking good here for Golden Guardians, as we're going to try and at least crack an inhibitor open. I think you have to think at least one's on the cards here. They're in bottom side
You guys aren't
to
getting
start
ice
things
cream
off.
tonight if you don't get an inhib with it.
You know what? It may be true. It's Sunday, you know.
All the ways you used to coach those high school soccer or those youth soccer games, you know, football. Sorry.
Thank you, Noe.
I know there's a lot of different regions and people who watch the LCS. Don't want to offend anyone with soccer.
Good old leg egg, as opposed to hand egg, is diving in there for Olleh. A little too far forward. There was Neo on a killing spree, but Licorice is literally under the enemy tower, just going for it. Golden Guardians just don't give a damn. They're diving straight on in. Yeah, looks like Licorice going to be coming back to life thanks to GA, but they got the tower they came for. Gonna look for the inhib as well, and they're just unrelenting.
Yeah, Olleh not that tanky, but you can see how much the Seraphine can prop up the rest of her teammates, able to keep everyone alive through a not super clean dive as, hold on.
Oh, that's so disgusting. The root from Stixxay connects. The skill shots come through and Stixxay grabs himself a kill. That opens up the inhib. In fact, Golden Guardians might want more as Gamsu and Minion are a very enticing target. The Baron cannon there trying to be cleared by Blue, but Gamsu's moved back forward. Pridestalker low, but not dead just yet, as that boulder just barely misses, but Golden Guardians will back away.
Not quite yet. Blue trying to cut them off.
Yeah, cuts off one, and AblazeOlive just walks forward. The Rylai's procs. Blue's absolutely dead. Licorice able to get that kill, and now Golden Guardians walk back in.
Get baited by Pridestalker's clone again. He actually popped the wall with his W, and they think that's him cut off in the corner. They get that kill. Probably going to hit the game.
And that's one tower down. Looks like Golden Guardians might be finishing off the weekend with a win. As they're going to try and stop it here. River with a nice ulti kicks them all out from under the tower, but the Baron's still here for 30 more seconds. Ulti out of Seraphine, locks down River. Damage should be enough. Stixxay unstoppable, looking great here on the Seraphine as Gamsu finds one. Pridestalker dies, but Neo and Licorice are going to be doing battle, and Licorice is going to win easily as Gamsu looks to be the final kill before Golden Guardians finish off this game. Licorice nabs himself the double, and Golden Guardians will grab themselves a nexus, trying to harass Biofrost in the fountain, but it doesn't matter because they'll take the game instead.
Golden Guardians ending the first round robin at 4-5, climbing up to nearly 500 after a bit of a slow start. Stixxay in particular was massive that game, had some really nice roots. The Seraphine pick overall just being clutch for how they wanted to play that game out, and just the aggressive solo laners, like you're saying, for Golden Guardians, making sure that they were active in that early game, despite a pretty terrible start with how aggressive River was.
I mean, that early game start was wonderful from River. I mean, we can't take that away from Dig, but Golden Guardians just kind of absorbed the pressure, kind of knew what they were playing towards here, and certainly with a comp that is maybe a touch unconventional in a lot of places, even though we have seen quite a few of these champions, really understood what they were trying to do there. I mean, maybe it's not that difficult to understand, to your point,
but they still did the right things, especially in the early game where you're down pressure. The roam by Olleh and Stixxay to contest that Rift Herald. A couple of the Drake setups, Olleh really keyed those off with his ultimates, and then the Seraphine could follow up. I think it was a good team win, but I think the bot lane in particular stood out to me.
Yeah.
And they're definitely going to be getting some ice cream after that one, I hope.
Certainly should be. I mean, at this point, I think they have to. In error, if you're listening, I know you are. Make sure the lads get some ice cream.
Or get it DoorDash to them. I don't know.
It doesn't matter how you obtain it.
Grubhub, excuse me.
As long as you legally obtain the ice cream,
yes,
that's all that matters. But how the delivery system doesn't matter. But if you get delivered,
yeah,
Grubhub.
Dignitas needing to look back at that game,
yeah,
and especially the Rift Herald, I think, was the make or break moment of the game. It's hard to, I think, say like that broke the game for them, but that is the first critical misstep, and losing your Herald in a team comp like that is a bit of an issue.
Certainly is, but with that, looks like we are going to be joining Licorice now and Olleh for our Verizon